Welcome to episode 12 of the Metamagix Monster Manual, where I make stat blocks out of all monsters around gaming and give them out to you. Today we are continuing with the Dead by Daylight chapter, and in this episode we are going to be covering the Plague. As always, a link to the stat block can be found in the description below, take you to my Twitter or my Discord where you can find a link to it there. When designing the Plague stat block, I wanted to make a monster that was centered around using ranged attacks to complement her powerful basic attacks. So with that in mind, let's just jump right into it. So this is the Plague, and to begin, the Plague is classified as a large humanoid with the Chaotic Evil tag. It is an armor class of 13, a hit point total of 150 hit points, and it has a speed of 35 feet, slightly faster than most creatures as in game. For the stat array, the only noteworthy stat here is Constitution at a pretty high 18, with a 14 Strength and 14 Wisdom being slightly above average. She is immune to poison damage and immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks, but again could be turned down to a resistance if your party is low on magic. She has a passive perception of 12, speaks 0 languages, and is a challenge rating of 6. So now let's jump into some gameplay and talk about her unique perks and abilities. So to get started, let's talk about the Plague's unique bread and butter ability, Vile Purge. As a bonus action, the Plague can shoot forth a stream of infectious bile. This can be targeted in either a straight line of up to 30 feet or a cone of up to 15 feet. Any creatures hit by Vile Purge must make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes diseased. If a diseased creature moves within 5 feet of another non-diseased creature, that creature must make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes diseased. Any creature diseased in this way cannot be healed by any means, with the exception of magic or a similar effect that removes disease. Infected creatures can also remove the disease by drinking from one of 4 pure fountains located in positions of the DM's choosing. If a creature cleanses the disease in this way, the fountain becomes corrupted. The Plague can then drink from the corrupted fountain, no action required, and her Vile Purge becomes corrupted, dealing 3d6 necrotic damage instead of inflicting disease. This corruption lasts for 1 minute. So your idea here is to start the fight by applying your Vile Purge disease to as many of the party members as possible to prevent them from healing and possibly encouraging them to cleanse so that you may gain your Corrupted Purge ability. Let's move on to her 3 unique perks, starting with Infectious Fright. Whenever a creature is reduced to 0 hit points, all creatures within 30 feet of the Plague become frightened for 1 minute. Any frightened creatures may make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw at the end of each of their turns to remove this effect. Now, unlike most frightened effects, a creature does not gain immunity to this for 24 hours after a successful save, so this effect will reapply should another creature go down after a creature's frighten has been expired. Next up, we have Corrupt Intervention. At the start of the encounter, a thick haze covers all terrain within a 100-foot radius of the Plague. This haze is treated as magical darkness. The Plague is unaffected by this haze, and this haze persists for 1 minute. Now, upon review of this ability, this might be a little bit strong for 1 minute. You might have it just be a couple of rounds, maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 rounds. 10 rounds might be a little bit much for having the entire party cast in magical darkness, but hey, it could be a fun challenge. And finally, for her final unique perk, we have Dark Devotion. At the start of the encounter, the Plague becomes obsessed with a random player, so this is continuing the obsession mechanic from previous videos. After the Plague successfully hits the obsession, she may use a bonus action to swap places with the obsession at any time for the next minute. So if the obsession happens to land on a party member who likes to stay far away from the fight, the Plague can rush over to that party member, hit them once, and then if the rest of the party dogpiles on top of the Plague can immediately teleport out and swap places with the obsession. It is meant to be both a gaining distance ability and a retreat ability, depending on how you would use this ability. So with those unique abilities out of the way, let's talk about her action that she gets, and she only gets 1. It is her Censor. It is a melee weapon attack plus 6 to hit, reach 5 feet, and deals 12 or 2d8 plus 3 bludgeoning damage. So as I stated before, the playstyle for this killer would be to start the fight with your Corrupt Intervention, take advantage of the fact that the Plague cannot be seen, infect as many of the party as you can with Vile Purge to get them to cleanse so that you can gain your corruption to deal extra damage with your bonus action and then deal even more damage with your Censor attack. With Corrupt Intervention, you could make this last 1 minute and the party would probably want to hide in some places that the Plague could not see. and wait out the timer, or they might just want to rush in and go for it. It is up to your party, of course. This is probably one of the stronger killer designs that I have made from the Dead by Daylight chapter. So if you do feel like a level 5 or so party wouldn't be able to handle this, you could throw this at a little bit of a higher level party to give them more of a chance. But I digress. That is how I would run the Plague in D&D 5e. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe if you haven't. Only like 12% of you are subscribed, I think, something like that. So until the next time, guys, have fun, stay safe, and as always, happy gaming.